Я вернулся. Тот стрим я удалю, я говорю сразу об этом. Так, сейчас. Вот так делаем. Потом, опа, сейчас я немножечко ляпну как надо. Я после ванны просто отходил, покушал. Сейчас все быстренько наладим. Вот так делаем. Потом, опа, сейчас я немножечко ляпну как надо. Я после ванны просто отходил, покушал. Сейчас все быстренько наладим. Там Нави проиграл.
Going to have a super on IC, but the hypercharge is out from Kuru on the left side. IC now looking for the kill on Kuru, shut down by the spiders that are out. Kuru in his last legs. Here comes the out of bounds shade, trying to play goalie, doing his best, popping the hypercharge, but it's still not enough. And this game goes to Navi in spite of such a clutch up from Rival.
Wow. I mean, to concede so closely to an overtime scenario, but now to kind of reset that quick, actually, I think it deserves a lot of credit. And again, I'm loving this comp. I'm loving the synergy. I was waiting all day to see some shade from East Asia, but the draft is where it matters, and I think Navi have read this like a book. Certainly, there's still very much potential here for Rival Esports, but I think they're really playing against the wind currently. They're going to have to do a lot of pushback and really utilize a lot of these hypercharges in quick succession because I think Navi are looking so dangerous.
To validate some of these selections, I think the Shade should be, pretty decent into the bowl and should be able to still kill a Choppy when it's in a hypercharged state. If it's not, then there's really no hope for that matchup. We'll see if Terry's willing to make the first move on the left side here. Nothing quite yet. Maybe waiting to push in as a team, get some value for a Meshi, or something like that. Also noting the fact that Kuru has that super active. Terry now in with the super. A missed super for Kuru. This could be it. A push forward from IC, and they look to eliminate a Choppy. They've got only a few seconds before he respawns, so they better make it count now. But no, they're opting just to move up to the next stage of this map and look for the kill once more. They do have the utility with Lu once he gets that super, so they're probably looking to play off of that tempo.
Terry's in a very dangerous spot here. Hypercharges for both him and IC. Now they go in, but Chubby gets the ball and just clears it off, and that's going to waste so much of time for Rival Esports here. A key moment though is now everyone working together, and that's going to be a goal regardless. It was a close one. I thought Chubby may have defended it, but nonetheless, that is exactly what I was saying. Rival Esports had to use those hypercharges in quick succession and great synergy off the back of it. It's the only way they're going to break this defensive line of Navi.
Rival Esports have some pretty stalwart defense of their own as well. All grouped up behind these walls, and note that Terry, he's going to super forward and grab this ball, just pass it out of the way. I'm not sure what the objective of that really was, but it's cost them so much of their positioning, and everyone's just getting run over. IC's the last to fall, a full team wipe in a play that I can't really wrap my head around why Terry opted to go for that. Now he's superless, and he does have a hypercharge. He will be able to play around the Meshi, but it would have been so much better if he had a super of his own. The hypercharge out from Ryoki. He's frozen, rooted into the ground, and the team wipe from Rival clears the way for them to advance to a match point.
This is now a dangerous time for Navi, who were, in my opinion, still the favourites coming in. And certainly in the BSC, it will be the first time which we would have seen Rival Esports get the win over
Нами
them. And
проигрываем.
that is just the right time to get it right, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's still, I feel, plenty of time for Navi to make a comeback here. This comp has got a lot of legs. It just can't feed in too much of this utility. Like I said, Rival Esports are just too attuned to the idea of holding on and just popping all that utility when they've got to go. Oh, look at this though, from Kuru, and Chappie's got a bit of a beeline for the goal, but the ball, push clear and everyone's frozen. Oh no! Can Chappie get past the rear? He's slipping and sliding. He's actually going to get it in regardless. What an opening statement from Navi, but it was very touch and go.
29 seconds to get a goal. Where's this Navi been for the entire set so far? It's like finally they were able to get that offensive momentum when previously they were profiting off of their defensive capabilities. Here comes Terry in. He has a hypercharge ready, and he's no doubt going to be taken down, but Ryoki has to get in range. He's going to have to sacrifice quite a bit of HP to get in there, and that ended up actually not being the right play. Kuru is going to get scored on, and Navi now find themselves at a tied-up score only 1 minute into the game.
Oh, look at Rico, he's so dangerous here, going and cycling the hypercharge, and look at the connections that he's getting! Beautiful from Navi, making a run for the goal and an easy walk-in. What outstanding gameplay to keep this alive, to take it to a 5th and final set like that! Against the pressure, the might of Rival Esports was building up within them, and they stood firm. Unreal!
Lightning offense is what they call it. That is what we saw from Navi. They managed to pull it together. They played the Charlie offensively, got someone cocooned, and it seemed like finally Bullock found that bravery to push up the left side in the Shade matchup. A lot of things went right, and some lessons were learned from Navi that they applied in Game 3.
You know, I really felt for Rival in this one, despite that clutch in the last second of round number 1, in the end Navi takes it. They do recover from that quickly, take that second game and make it a match point in the end, but Rival still not the winner of this set, despite those 11 kills on the Kaze as well. Navi just had the perfect answer to the bills. Charlie cocooned her ever since she tried to go in.
Сейчас, друзья,
A
приду.
lot of kills, but with those two tanks still standing in front of the goal, it's just too much pressure from the side of Navi to still defend it. And in the end, we love to talk about that as well. We want to play for the objective, which in Brawl isn't only about getting those kills.
No, not at all. It's got to be a really calculated push. Look at this. It was so beautiful from Ryoki there. The connections, the stuns, the slows, and the follow-up. Everything has to be coordinated as an attack there from Navi. Against a tremendous amount of pressure again, against the match point, and valuable points being deprived. These two teams are really in this kind of dangerous position now, fighting for that LCQ spot. So to take it to a 5th and final set like that is so big for Navi.
You're saying it. I'm super happy we finally.
Что, опять зависло, что ли? Да вы что, рофлите? Я тут, ребят.
We are on Hot Zone once again, and I mentioned it before.
Финальный пик.
Draco is super strong at the moment. He only won 2 of the 5 times he has been picked today, but I do feel like Hot Zone is going to be one of his best modes, and yes, he's going to be banned out. Lumi, Kaze as well, Ali, Shade, and Barley banned out. I did not expect the Barley ban. Rival has the first pick here. Maybe that's a strat they're following ready.
I think what this Barley pick tells me is that like maybe they want like a good Hank game because it's totally viable. Yeah, there's a Hank. And I think they also have the potential to pick up a Barry here as well. Maybe Navi decide that they're going to play like some serious DPS, like go for a bow because that's wide open right now. I just want to touch on that real quick before reminding everyone that the last 2 times that Navi and Rival Esports have faced within like the last couple of weeks, it was also a 5-set series. Navi took the win both times. Rival Esports are feeling that fatigue. It would be such a disappointment for them to make it to set 5 once more. Also, having a match point along the way and to be shut down once more. But back to the draft, Griff now coming out from Navio.
I was itching to say it. I think that the Hank first pick's a mistake. On this kind of map with a Griff, to instantly break everything wide open, the hypercharge as well. I mean, there's still potential for long-range sharpshooters like B to come in to combine with this as well, and it's going to leave Rival Esports in a very precarious position as well. I'm just kind of a little bit concerned, honestly. Charlie, I think, as well, as it's not banned out here, would probably be the way to go now, and then maybe have to be Frank. I don't know that that's the pick, honestly. I mean, they had a great opportunity to really open up things to expose the Hank and just make it a sharpshooter affair, but now they're going to be running a big tankier brawler which wants to keep the walls, and yet the Griff's wanting to break the walls. I don't know, it's a bit counterintuitive.
What I'm looking at here is Navi want to get these walls down and they want to run the B. That is what everything is telling me, but they have that flexibility. Okay, they have waited till the end to pick their mid, or hey, maybe they run that Griff at mid and they opt for a second lane. I think Navi have some pretty good flexibility here. We'll see Rival Esports go in with this Charlie. That will be a pretty solid option into the Frank, because while he won't have issues with the spiders, he is going to have an issue with getting put in a cocoon when he's trying to super, when he's trying to hypercharge. It's just like one of the best CCs in the game that Charlie is offering here. And I think it keeps him quite safe against a bunch of things. Could open the doors for Navi to go with an Amber if they want to go that route. I'm still curious whether Rival Esports opt for a approach of like permanence. No, they're going to go for aggression, in fact, because this often is how the team like pans out. You have Icy and Terry as the aggros, and you have Mameshi as the stable mid, so that's kind of how I expect the roles to be handed out on this roster. I just wonder if it's going to hold them back, because I'm looking for good matchups into Frank right now, and I'm really only seeing the Charlie.
I think that they should have absolutely picked Charlie instead of the Frank. Absolutely. Barry certainly going to be a helping hand for this Frank, and the heals much needed. But again, I feel like, why take the risk of leaving Charlie open? It's their most highest pick brawler in scrims, by the way. So, like, it's a big statement from Navi to say, yeah, we're not going to be worried about your Hank. I just don't know whether, like, the Griff first pick was saying such a story, and then to not have the Charlie, I don't know. It could be their unraveling here. Certainly the Berry is going to be probably their best opportunity, and just to have calculated breaks with the Griff on one side of the map to allow cover for the Frank to still kind of do its thing. And the Berry gives me some comfort in that idea, certainly to keep Rio here as live as much as possible. But, you know, what good is it going to do if the Charlie's targeting the Frank? I mean, with the Hank, it's going to be very tough to push into this.
They're going to go for it. Here comes Terry on the right side. Whoa, I did not expect him to win that matchup against Ryoki. But when you decide to go with the irresistible attraction, just know that you're pulling a Hank right under you. And if he supers, then you are dead 2, 3, 4 times over. Here comes once more the CC out from Mameshi, shutting down Ryoki. And Navi are really struggling to find their positioning on this point. That's a missed hyper from Mameshi. Not really the best outcome, but Rival Esports are tearing this composition apart.
The most the Frank has done is open up the entire map, leaving nowhere to go, and you're all spawning in. It's down to really Chappie with his hypercharge now to really make some space for his team. He does find a connection on the right-hand side. That's great here for Navi, and now Chappie can move forwards and reserve this utility, wait for the perfect time for it, because they are so behind on the objective. Now creeping towards 25%, whereas Rival Esports have all got 82% on the zone. And now with everything so open, it's going to be very tough, but Chappie's doing wondrous work at shutting down this right-hand side, and a great stun from Ryohi. There is still time for this comeback potential. Terry stays standing, but these stuns continue on from Ryohi, and it's just buying down the clock and giving more time to Navi.
My hypothesis was that if Navi get control of this point, then it's impossible for Rival Esports to win unless they get a Kenji hypercharge and get a 3K off of it, or at least get everyone at once, getting some damage onto them. Because look at how much utility these guys have. Ryoki, Kuru working together as a squad. They get the takedown onto Kenji as well. To think that this is really off the back of Kenji dying to a Frank hypercharge that was entirely avoidable. Rival Esports pushing in, looking for the... They've managed to get onto the point. They get the match point.
I would never have imagined that it would be that close. I thought it was just a clear out draft in favor of Rival. So despite the loss for Navi there in that game, there is hope. There is still hope for this comp. It just didn't go the way I was expecting it to go in the draft. I still feel like that second pick, not going for the Charlie's a mistake. but nonetheless, let's see what Navi can cook. That was so close, but they are up against the match point. The pressure now is mounting so heavily for Rival Esports. A win, a must win for them realistically here this month, and they're so close now to it, but there is a massive clear up. Now Navi have got much better control on the zone at a much earlier stage in the scoreline, and if they can bring things back the way that they did in the previous game and hold firmer this time, they've got a much better chance and a much better lead.
Okay, Frank in the cocoon. IC looking to punish. A little bit tardy there on the super, and he's punished for it. Ryohi now has that hypercharge. Terry nukes him. He's still going to go down, and now it's a 1v1 between Memeshi and Achapi. There's another cocoon, but it almost felt like a waste because they did need to keep control, but that could have been used on Ryohi when he uses a super. Memeshi is behind. He needs to get the super soon. Got to be just 2 shots away. There's 1, there's 2. He's got the super back, and now he's ready to defend another push. Terry also trying to keep up this momentum, gets killed with the torpedo off the hypercharged super, and things are in the clear. He's ready to punish anyone coming out of this cocoon. IC is going to look to get it done, and he's got the hypercharge. That's going to be not that much onto Ryohi. In fact, it was almost a total waste. Rival Esports lose control, and they totally could have had control. That was an excellent snipe on Ikuru, but Rival Esports are still lacking control.
Berry Hills are keeping Ryohi on this zone. So much doubling down to really put him on the map here. And he's doing a great job handling this pressure spectacularly. So as Navi now approach 90% on the zone, Ryohi stays alive there as well. Achapi there for support on the right hand side, and a great hypercharge stun from Ryohi yet again. There goes the super there from as well, the Griff, and it keeps Navi alive. It's match point now. Next game takes it all. Oh my word. I just cannot believe that Navi are making this comp work so well. It doesn't make sense to me on paper, but somehow with the might of those Berry Hills behind Ryohi, it is working. They've got no cover to hide behind. It shouldn't work, and it is working.
It's literally just the permanence they're able to afford themselves, and also the damage that these Rival Esports brawlers offer. You have an assassin, you have a tank that plays very passively, you know, works up 4K shots, but it kind of takes them a while to get there. And Charlie, that kind of chips you gradually. Really, her value is the CC. So their benefit here is that they have the health, and there's just not enough damage from Rival Esports. Once they get on that point, it is so difficult to remove them. They've gotten on here as well. See also some of the matchups. In addition, like Terry over here, he's very vulnerable to a Frank stun. The Frank hypercharge also has caught many more brawlers than it should have. People at max range getting tapped up from this at pro level of play is not that often. But Memeshi is still going to get caught up in it. And look at Navi's positioning on this point. They could get shoved off by some damage in from Memeshi and Terry, but once more, the healing is too much from Rival to get through.
The speed in which Navi escaped that cocoon was crazy to me, and now again the cycling of this Berry and the Hank and the Frank still staying on the zone. 85% now for Navi, and Rival have only got 17%. There's so much work to be done, and I just don't feel like it's going to be enough as Navi stay on the zone. Hypercharge is coming out, the cocoon is there, but Navi get it done. They get the 100%. They get to the semi-finals. Rival Esports fall. Navi victorious.
Navi, a front runner in the East Asian region, have only compounded their lead over the other teams on the leaderboard, and Rival Esports left in the dust. Previously, they were only 22 points ahead, keeping them in that 5th place spot, and now it's looking very threatening for them. That plus, note the scoreline, the record coming into this one. It was 3-1 in favor of Navi. Now it's 4-1. A chance to equalize, now squandered.
Third in the leaderboard, Navi clutches this one out in set number 5. Double match point. What a quarterfinal this was. And what a clever draft they showed us with this one. The Griff and Frank combined screamed B. I think, Reddy, you even mentioned it, that B is probably going to follow after that. They want to open up the map, and the map was completely open. But they had a Berry, a thrower that you usually don't want to put out in the open field, but with the heals in the back, it still worked out phenomenally. Choppy with 12 kills, we're okay with 10. The comp worked out perfectly, leaving open the Charlie. Yes, it was a bit risky arc, but I think they knew what they were doing.
Well, you can see how swift they were able to get out of the cocoon. You know, I think the berry ice cream on the map just made it like very, very much all hands on the heels in Ryohei. And I was thinking the bee, already said the berry. I wasn't too sold on the berry, but I said that it gave me some hope that they then had a chance, because that second pick, Charlie, was just such a scary one. I thought they'd made a big blunder by handing that over, especially in this current meta, and how much we've seen Charlie really take the mantle in East Asia and be a massive, massive counter to all of these heavy hitters. I was so surprised, considering that it was Navi's best pick, their highest paid brawler in scrims. They left it open, but I said as well that they had to have a plan to leave that kind of brawler open, and they did just that. I mean, you cannot deny that that comp just worked the map so well. So Navi now on a 3-2 scoreline, and again, Reddy, you were saying about it being 4-1 in terms of that back and forth, but the amount of scorelines of a 3-2, as you know full well, I mean, it was a perfect story, really. I mean, unfortunate for rival, but it's the same old story.
We just signed bracket. We're almost halfway through the day already, but we had some banger matchups up to this point. A 3-2 in our quarter.
Пока зайду в Brawl, посмотрю, что собрал. Так, я надеюсь, за музыку нам не прилетит. О, Уна Честер продается. Как раз для тех, кто не успел забрать. Не знаю, посмотрим. Какой-то новый скип-релиз. 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 Капец. Офигенные скины. Не знаю, ребят, может и их будем разыгрывать. А, вот Эмс это, да. Будет продаваться. Вот эти скип-релиз тоже будут продаваться. Так, что мне тут? Ну вот, раз, два, три, четыре. Ну все, ждите ролик, скоро будет. Так, полетели дальше, что там у нас? Ну, блин. Попал? Да.
He is 2, and after that match, a 3-2 in the end, you have got a long break. Who did you like best?
I mean, I personally I liked all of them, but you know, I'm gonna go for a Chappie, of course. I mean, like honestly, I think any of the 6 players playing could have got it. Like genuinely, everybody was deserving. Such an incredible match, and you know, I don't think we're gonna have any different next. This is another quarterfinal number 4 is yet another grand finals tier game in the quarterfinals, just as the last one was, so I'm really excited for this next one.
And since you're already leading into it, quarterfinal number 4 is Crazy Raccoon versus Safety Division, and it's gonna be a close one, as you said. I feel Crazy Raccoon qualified for winners this month, a very narrow win over rival Safety Division, coming from the lower bracket, losing to Genji in a 3-1 loss. Arc, is today the day where Crazy Raccoon can finally turn around their fate? They played Safety Division twice this year, and both times they lost.
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. Crazy Raccoon's drop-off needs to be studied, and I just feel like it's got to be now. You know, it's got to be now. Here we go. Oh shoot! Here we go again. Oh shoot! You know, it's like, you know, it's just for me this matchup that I feel is, you know, it's the test of time, isn't it? We've seen this historically over and over again, but this season it just doesn't seem like it's been Crazy Raccoon's year. And we all questioned the roster change with Safety Division coming into the year, and it just didn't seem like it was a fitting one at that. But it's working out far better than we gave it credit for. For Crazy Raccoon, they've struggled. I mean, in the qualifiers, you know, they shouldn't be going 3-2 against rival esports, in my opinion. Their only other match was against Lost Children. not necessarily a big heavy hitter in this region, so I've got big reservations on them at the moment.
A win for Crazy Raccoon over Zeta Division would mean a lot to them, not only to get revenge, but also because if they lose now, it would effectively kill their hopes for the direct World Finals slot in the end. They're only sitting at a 4th slot at the moment. On the other side, though, we have Zeta Division sitting at that top 1 spot, Trev, looking good. But something happened this month that they're, struggled a little bit in the qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think we can be like, okay, you know, they're not as good a team because they've dropped 1 game in qualifiers. Like, if you think about how many teams have dropped games in qualifiers over the past, 5 months, it'd be ridiculous. But we're just kind of going specifically towards it because it's Zeta Division, and I don't think we can do that. Gen G might have taken them down, but I still think they're going to be as good as ever.
They need to make it into the grand finals, and they would have that world final slot for sure. So that is the main goal for today. This and other goals we wanted to discuss with the team themselves. We had the chance to sit down with Zizuku.
Давай, ждем. Легендарный бой.
ジェンジー戦では、負けた原因としてはドラフトが完全に、僕たちが下手だったので負けたんですけど、負けたことによってトーナメントがめちゃくちゃ面白いことになったんで全然 OK かなって感じです。CR の弱点ってより正直僕たちは人気力が良すぎるので、もう弱点がなくても僕たちが勝っちゃうよって感じです。
Будем разыгрывать Октофенга, Персуаратор Луны и уличный шейд, наверное. Но вообще 3 одинаковых, наверное, Октофенга будем разыгрывать, пока не знаю.
マジでこれガチリアルガチのあんまり情報がないジェンジーと
Я
か
тебе
です
чуть-чуть попозже напишу именно какие
他の
скины.
チームに
Просто
は
еще надо
3ヶ
поговорить
月連続優勝してることもあって負けてないんですけ
и
ど
сразу
ジ
тогда
ェ
к
ンジーはや
тебе.
っぱり情報がな
Сколько
くてちょっと
будет
ドラフトが独特やったんで難しかったって感じです
за
ね
это?
それ以外には勝てます
Well, what he says here is true. Only one team can have Shitampo on their side, and it is Zeta Division this year who has him. He really commended him here, Suzuki. His decisiveness, his direction. He's been that guy in Zeta Division for a while now, Trey.
Привет.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a strong player. I mean, he's been that guy for East Asia for such a long period of time. Like, it's ridiculous how good this guy is, to be honest with you. But it's honestly, you know, it's going to be such a tough matchup, and regardless. Like, Crazy Raccoon, they might be, what, like 4th on the leaderboard, something like that, but they're not like the 4th best team in the region. They've just been so unlucky with brackets over and over again. It's undeniable Zeta are the best in the region, and they've faced them multiple times throughout this year, prior to the finals. So you've got to feel for them a little bit on that, but to be the best, you've got to beat the best, and that's what's going to have to happen here in quarterfinal number 4.
Yes, exactly. And they only need to come second today. They only need to win their quarterfinal and semifinal match to clinch World Finals. That's going to be a huge motivation arc.
Absolutely so. I mean, I just feel like with this though, you know, I feel so bad for Crazy Raccoon. You know, the 1 month where, you know, Zeta Division goes to the lower bracket, of all teams to lose to, Gen G, and then you find yourself after a winners bracket run up against Zeta again. I mean, it's just tough, isn't it? It really is. But I mean, this is now the time for Crazy Raccoon to prove themselves. Like, we've got to see more from them. They've been falling behind. It's been clear to see. Yes, we've seen this matchup a couple of times, as we kind of expected to in this region. It's always a bit of the highlight, isn't it, when we see these kind of like Zeta clashes. But reality is that Crazy Raccoon are underperforming, and you know, with this roster movement of Milk Rio coming in, has he been really fulfilling that role of Shitampo? I'm not overly convinced, and doesn't seem like the public are either. 86% siding with Zeta here. Crazy Raccoon, it's such a rarity to ever call them an underdog.
Let's see how they will do against Zeta Division. The 3rd time they've faced them in a monthly final this year. So far, not a single win against them, but today could be the point of turning things around here. And yeah, Ark, as you mentioned, maybe when you've seen that Zeta Division drops down to the lower bracket, this monthly qualifier, it would have actually been better to let yourself drop down as well. Crazy Raccoon qualifies through the winner bracket. Their first match is against Zeta Division. Bans are in now. Lumikaze and Ali on the side of Zeta Division. Draco is going to be picked up first by Crazy Raccoon. And once again, Trev, usually we don't like tanks as first picks, but Draco has been picked up quite often today as first pick.
Yeah, I mean, when it's Draco, you know, when Draco's free, pick Draco. And I think that's what the majority of people have been doing as well. Pretty decent on this map. Hypercharge's ridiculous. So overall, I don't mind it too much. It definitely leaves the entire composition susceptible to a lot of counters, but I think you've kind of got to, because if you don't take it there, it's 100% getting picked by Zeta on the next two. But good to see Ali banned out again. Pleased about that, just so strong at the moment. Charlie going to come in as well. It's another one we've been seeing time and time again, and very strong actually.
I feel like in this region as well, Trav, you might like a pick coming up soon. I feel like Tara is definitely on the minds here. Maybe with Zeta, it's definitely more their kind of pick. Might not be at this stage in the draft, however, but certainly it's a looming prospect here. Janet gets played a lot as well here, which is kind of like a brawler which is certainly not ever really on my mind when it comes to the draft. But I think Sandy being banned by Crazy Raccoon is quite warranted. I mean, I just didn't expect it, honestly. But it's just kind of a bit of an outlier. It's a great map for it, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's kind of rare that even despite the hypercharge really elevating Janet to really kind of have her on our minds now. There's so many kind of brawlers that are new hypercharged in, and definitely big worthy threats to consider first. But it is definitely one that they do quite like here. Crow is one that could be Crazy Raccoon's kind of idea. I think the Chester wouldn't be the worst of a shouts or buster yet. I like that tank kind of combo there with the Draco. Draco's definitely the shining star they're currently in their comp.
Yeah, I mean, double tank. They're definitely leaving themselves susceptible to some heavy tank counters coming in from Zeta Division, and still kind of... It's going to be very difficult. Like, Charlie's going to be good against tanks anyway, right? That's why they've picked it as the first. Janet's going to reveal where they are quite a lot with these drop bases. And they've still got the last as well, so it's definitely going to be a rough one for Crazy Raccoon, but clearly have faith in the fact that they can just run these tanks and kind of still manage to win. Tara comes in, and you know, as you mentioned, Doug, I'm going to love that no matter what the competition, no matter what the map. If there's a Tara, I'm saying yes to it. I'm loving it. But I do like it. I think this is overall pretty decent. They're just going for kind of like overwhelming tanks and then taking away what Zeta Division probably would have picked last.
I told you that you'd be very happy with that pick. It just had to show its face, didn't it, really? It's just always been very, very good on this map. The spirits can obviously seek out and sort of have a little bit more of a bit of a radar. That's the problem that I did not expect to see at all. I mean, it is on Zeta's top 10 on this map for scrims, but they played it 3 times. I mean, it's not really anything to write home about. It's going to be doing pretty well, though, into the Draco, into the Buster, but that additional movement speed with the speed here can close the gap, and I feel like it's not really the brawl that I would go for.
Attack. А так слышно? Я вот сейчас переключил. Слышно, да? Окей, хорошо. Сейчас сделаю. Держим. Да ё-моё, Brawl Stars, ну.
But now able to heal off the back of things, and fortunately didn't go down there. But it's already a countdown for Zeta Division. CR have barely been in this game.
Вот.
Yeah, early flight though from Levy doesn't mean he's not going to have it when he kind of needs it towards the end, getting pressured back here. Hypercharge come in, pulls there as well. Moya use it on him. Milcrow's going to go in, get the kill. Nice slow there as well on the top side. Suzuki can't find the shots onto Milcrow. And after all that control and dominance, it doesn't matter because Crazy Raccoon are the one with the most gems.
Sitting there for the moment. Tensai goes down. Crazy Raccoon steal it away. Milgria's got the hypercharge as well. And Zeta have got to close this gap with little time to do so, pushing into a Tara as well. Feeding Moya, has now got hypercharge too. Can they make something of this happen? What a great connection there from Moya. Levi missing the shots there as well. And that's a great steal from Crazy Raccoon. Zeta should not really have let that one go.
Yeah, if Zeta run that game, I was about to label it embarrassing for Crazy Raccoon, because that was like the first 90% of that game was ridiculous. Zeta Division absolutely destroying them, but all it takes is that one turnaround. 6 gems flipped the other way, 4 picked up from mid, and they've got countdown themselves. So, I mean, that's probably Crazy Raccoon's game plan, I guess, but it did feel like they kind of retreated a bit early, used that flight way too early as well, and just result in the CR win. Nice stuff again though from Zeta Division as they kind of take control of this back portion of the map once more.
Yeah, fantastic start, and they're very good at establishing that control, but what point is there to establishing all this control and all this early game and mid game pressure when the late game isn't matching that same level of composure? Let's see if they can make a different stand of things. As Tensai on that right hand side couldn't aggress their tempo despite even the last stand gadget and now supposed to be taken care of, so even more time for Zeta to aggress this mid. There's a super rubber for Moya. That's a concern for sure, as the Tara is that brawler that really just bring things back into control if you connect them, and that's the thing that Moya failed to do on that left hand side there. That's going to be proving costly.
Yeah, I mean, this is just all Zeta again. He should be able to keep his flight this time because there's no Tara pull here, and he's going to go down anyway. Should be able to just walk back and then use this flight for the last 10 seconds of the game. So, in reality, this should be Zeta Division's game, but after the last one, I'm not entirely convinced that's how it's going to go once more. But the nice cocoon there on the left-hand side and good control there from Shitampo. The flight's still available. That's going to be the game to Zeta Division. And if it carries on like this, it should be the set as well, because this should be the set alone after these first 2 games. But Crazy Raccoon have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, now I'm kind of worried because, if Zeta fall in this next game, they'll look back massively on this set and go, that was one that we absolutely should have got. So, Crazy Raccoon, again, I still feel they've not really got into their pace so far. That was kind of like Zeta just continuing the assault, but, able to maintain the gems at the end rather than just, handing them over. Let's see. Again, I'm loving this synergy between the M's and the Janet. Able to already, you can see this Tensai's going to fall. Moya's low as well, and just everyone being herded around the map. And that friend zoner as well keeps things back for Zeta. Look at that sheer dominance on this game. Again, I'm so shocked that they were able to lose the gems in that first game, considering how well they're playing.
It's just brilliant from Zeta, it really is. I mean, complete outdraft too. Crazy Raccoon haven't really had a look in at all. Tensai's going to use the super here and try and get something done, but drop the base, keep him low. Nice little hypercharge in there as well from Suzuki. Milcreo will survive it. But this is going to be 7 gems after picking up these 2 spiders. Come down. Hypercharge there from Stamp as well. Possibly one of the worst hypercharges in the game, to be honest. Doesn't really make a difference from the normal super in that situation. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter at all, because surely this is another 2 gems, and then Levi just flies to safety.
Yeah, I mean, CR just pushing into the storm, and you've got to be more calculated than that and try and split the lanes, try to communicate. I mean, they're just literally just walking straight into this Ems. And again, I think the Ems is doing a great job, don't get me wrong. I think it's a good pick. It's working very much in this draft, but it's definitely not the pick that you expect to see making this much of a statement, this much of a stand, and it's absolutely dominating because CR is walking straight through it. And like you say, Janet's disguised with all the gems. Zeta Division do get the set, despite it being, for all intents and purposes, looking like a close scoreline. It absolutely wasn't. CR is just all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that was bad from CR. The draft didn't go well, the game didn't go well, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and this is in possibly the one of the most defining games of their entire year at this point as well, and they're playing and drafting like this. It's just, I don't know, it's boding well for them.
They did take game number 1 though. Crazy Raccoon looked pretty good in that one at the start, at least Zeta Division turned things around quickly. Shitampo with a whopping 14 kills. We did talk about that Ems a lot, and yes, it's not a brawler that is in the top ranks at the moment. Ems not the best in the current meta, but sometimes, and that just shows in this match as well, a brawler can be not that good in the meta, but really, really good on a certain map. This has also always been one of the best maps for Ems, and she can also be really good into certain brawlers. And I feel like, as an answer to what Crazy Raccoon was playing here with the Draco and the Buster especially, Ems was the phenomenal pick that Zeta needed here, perfectly played by Chitampo sitting on that floor. I'm concerned about his back every time, by the way, when I see him play, but it seems to work out, so keep doing what you're doing, Chitampo.
I think it's in the culture as well. I think at school they're quite often sitting down, and I mean, Asian squat. You see a lot of players taking that kind of posture as well. And I mean, my legs don't bend that way. I'll be honest, but having spent a lot of time in that part of the world myself, I always marvel at those that can do it. And it's just like sitting in a chair to them. But whatever makes you comfy, that hey, that's what the monthly finals are all about.
Пока я буду с планшета еще читать комменты. Один человек, кстати, что-то странно.
But having spent a lot of time in that part of the world myself, I always marvel at those that can do it, and it's just like sitting in a chair to them.
Можно один на один, можно.
That's what the monthly finals are all about.
Пока я буду с планшета еще читать комменты. Один человек, кстати, что-то странно.
But having spent a lot of time in that part of the world myself.
2 лайка уже, спасибо. Давай 1 на 1 пока они там выбирают. Ого, квесты появлялись. На вышибалы, жетонный бой. Давай 1 на 1, если хочешь. Где хочешь? Хочешь депать. Ого, квесты появлялись. На вышибалы, жетонный бой. Давай 1 на 1. Если хочешь депать, депай, все. Братан, надо ботов убрать только. Ботов убери, пожалуйста. Это сегодня затестим. Ну, чел. А ботов-то не убрал.
Challenge accepted.
Ой-ой-ой. Так, полетели дальше, ребят, смотреть.
Just missed the connection there though onto Milprio. It proved costly. He then gets a knockback from Suzuku, leaving Tensai alone on the safe now. It's approaching 15% now. It's looking like CL should be able to have this one in the bag. There's going to be so little time. Tensai's doing a decent job on defense, though. Let's see. It's looking like Zeta are being stalled here for the moment. And a good attempt at that. Look at this. Tensa's doing great work on the side. They got it was 1%. It was actually 1%. That was so incredibly close. I didn't realize there was damage being conceded on the other side of the field. That could have gone all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the hypercharged Carl just flying on in.
Так, сколько нас на стриме? Ё-моё, один человек, где все-то? Сказал же, буду стримить потом.
Conceded on the other side of the field. That could have gone all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
Это трэш. Блин, вот так вот и зови вас. Эх, вы.
Always lead here. If you look at the speed in which the Edgar and the Lily are actually tearing down this safe, they're always hitting the stage before Crazy Raccoon, but it's going to come down to the wire massively. So what was that game? I mean, blink and you miss it, and that's the set's gone the other way. Crazy Raccoon get it, and Milgrim's face says it all. What did we just witness?
I mean, it's just poor management from Zeta, I feel. Like, the two brawlers you're taking to Zeta aren't out damaging a Daryl and a Carl. It's just simple as that. And a Berry's not going to be able to defend for anything. So it's actually like a 3 versus 2 on the safe. It's just, yeah, a bad management, I feel, from Zeta Division there in both of the games. But Crazy Raccoon come out on top of it, and I mean, that's probably the easiest set they'll ever win.
I literally just threw to you guys. Did you already start with set 2, or what happened? The match is over, I see. Okay, Tensa with the most wins. Okay. A lot of damage on the side of Crazy Raccoon overall, and they do take the set. They even out the score, which is something that, yeah, Crazy Raccoon can already be super happy with. Mentioned it before, once again, they only faced Zeta Division twice in the monthly finals so far. Once it was, yeah, a pretty devastating 3-0. Once they did take them to the final and lost sets 3-2 in the end for Zeta Division. They never won against them before, but they have to take this set forward, lift the momentum to the next set as well, Ark.
I mean, massively so. I mean, again, looking at how convincing that first game was for Zeta, to then just kind of literally hand this set on a plate over to Crazy Raccoon, you gotta ask yourselves the question, like, that's just such a dangerous thing to do. You're getting a bit ahead of yourselves, and I mean, you know, CR are just looking for any chance of momentum, and you've just given it to them. Just like Trav says, poor management. And as we know, Zeta have had moments against like Genji in the qualifiers where their drafts were just not it. And their drafts are sometimes their weakness. So if they are inconsistent with that, and we see this start to collide and topple more, Crazy Raccoon have just had an open door to success.
And of course, right now, all eyes are on Zeta Division. Was that stumble in the monthly qualifier just an unlucky little incident? Or is Zeta Division actually struggling a little bit this month? Crazy Raccoon does turn things around here, even out the score overall. It's 1-1 now. And Trev, I completely agree with you when you said if Zeta Division picks Edgar, it's probably because it's going to work out. It didn't in this case. Maybe they got a bit too confident against Crazy Raccoon after winning that set 1.
I mean, for me, I don't feel like it was, like, I don't think by any means it was a bad pick. I just think they didn't play that composition well. Like, they obviously had faith in it, and I honestly did as well. But, yeah, just wrong times to go on offense, wrong times to kind of go on defense. It's just very mismanaged by Zeta Division and pretty much handed on a plate to Crazy Raccoon there. So they've got a lot of making up to do. The first set was, you know, next to perfect for the most part for Zeta Division. But if you're going to be handing 3 sets like that, what's the point of even winning them?
We're now heading over to Golden Gulch, a knockout map once again. We did see New Horizons before, one of the newer ones in the map pool. Golden Gulch has always been a mainstay in the map pool. Charlie, Lou, Bell versus Kit, Angelo, Jean are banned out. So a lot of those long-range options gone. Also some tank counters with the Lou, for example. First pick this time, for the first time, for Zeta Division. Let's see with what they will go with here. We did see a phenomenal Draco Buster J on comp before. It's gonna be Kaze. So tanks once again, Ark. Tanks and assassins, sorry.
Yeah, it's dangerous. We've seen this brawler in this region just tear it up. I'm still amazed by the drop off of the first pick Gus. I'm sort of a bit flabbergasted as to how heavily it has dropped since just the introduction of a few brawlers from Hypercharge. There's not really any massive balance change, let's be honest, just a few here and there. But for sure, Ali has escaped the draft in that regard. In terms of the bans, it's definitely a State Division kind of pick. Yes, let's go. Because you see, I'll keep my hopes and dreams alive here. Quite like that from them. Wouldn't be opposed to them. I mean, they like a lot of Squeak and Brock and Jayo and that kind of stuff here, so they might kind of want to pair it. But I'm more curious as to what Zeta are going to be combining, because some of their picks and bans are quite scary. The kit being banned out by Crazy Raccoon for that very reason. They bring in some weird kind of wacky stuff. Lumi's left open here as well. That's quite a concern. Zeta like to bring in Doug too, so in that regard, Crazy Raccoon has got to have a good opening hand. Bonnie, the Hypercharge, as we know, and the assassination approach is very, very strong in this game mode specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I like what Crazy Raccoon have got here, I really do. Yeah, the only thing that makes me scared is this how strong we saw Zeta Division playing this brawler in the previous month for Kaze. Otherwise, I'd be 100% on the side of Crazy Raccoon with this kind of more long range, more calm, composed composition that they've got so far. But we know that Zeta Division can play Kaze very well, and they've still got another 2 picks to go along with it as well. So we'll see what they go with. Ollie, something that's going to remain on this aggressive side and definitely going to be taking it to them in the early game or waiting for the late game. So early or late for Zeta Division so far. Whereas Crazy Raccoon's going to be working for those supers and just trying to get a few picks here and there.
Yeah, Gray, Buster, I mean, these are all still available here. Daryl potentially as well could be on the cards, or even Hank. I mean, there's a lot of things that they combine with this to just run things down. That's kind of how things work in East Asia. They do like to run down comps for sure. Still surprised that Lumi is still evading the draft so far. I think that's, yeah, Brock, it's a bit of an odd one. I don't really kind of see the appeal of Brock too much, except for the wall break. And I've never been finding it in the current meta to be too flashy a brawler, but you know, certainly the wall break can be quite a big factor on a map like this to open things up when you've got brawlers like Bonnie as well. The only thing with that is that it's going to allow the Bonnie to have a better time of things on the side of Crazy Raccoon. So just a little bit of a concern here. Yeah, finally, Lumi's going to come through as the third and final pick. Probably like one of the very few instances in which it ever does. But I think that's a really solid brawler to have on this map. If for nothing else, just for the zoning potential to be able to have the freeze on the map allows you to kind of navigate things just that little bit better and lock down some of these lane sides, and that little wedge between the water areas of the map gives some limited choicing where the gas starts to close in. So a good final pick from Crazy Raccoon and a decent draft. I think it's quite a decent one, but again, the Kaze, it's my biggest concern that Zeta got it, because we know how dangerous they are with it.
Yeah, I really like this composition though, I will say, that we're seeing Crazy Raccoon bring in. Zeta Division seems like a bit of a throw together, like breaking up some walls so that you can have your 2 assassins kind of out in the open. Really doesn't seem like that much of a combination, and I feel like if they just wanted the long range, there's maybe better options. But we'll see. It might work out, they might prove me wrong. But yeah, the Crazy Raccoon comp in my eyes is just really, really nice. Little invis coming in now from Stampo, trying to get a few shots in, work towards the super, but only getting a few little peppering shots here and there.
Yeah, I mean, for the amount of times that we've talked about CL's draft, I agree. I think this is a really good standing chance of a draft here. I think my least favorite brawler is actually the Brock for Zeta. Let's see what they can cook with it, though, as a nice gadget pop there from the Cookie Popper of Milk Rio. Does see that Brock, that top right, low HP and forced back. Tensai staying back for a little bit of defensive measure, as Tampo trying to lurk there with the invisibility. Moya now got the jump as well, as we know Livo's low in going in and does secure the kill. Zuku's evading there on that top side, does finally get picked up though, and it's a 3 versus 1 and nowhere to go for Tampo.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be working. Like, I don't know what else we're expecting from this composition. We've got Hypercharge available for both Stampo and Moya at this point now as well. Chooses not to use it in that situation. It just goes forward, still gets hit, and really didn't do much for them, that super, did it?
No, Rocket Laces, by the way, on the Brock, on the gadget front. So no wall break for Levi unless he wants to utilize the Rocket Rain, of course. Hypercharge there on the right-hand side for Moya. And that is going to be timed to perfection, or needs to be timed to perfection to allow his teammates to really capitalize off the back of things. It's moments like that, which, you know, that utility can make it an instant 3 versus 2. So you've got to land those jumps and you've got to time it with your team.
Yeah, well, Suzuki super in hand. Shampoo still holding on to this Hypercharge. I want to use it in this more kind of
Zeta.
The form that just slices through rather than throws down the blinding aspect. Milcrow going to forced to use his shield here and should still go down and does. Nice stuff from Zeta. Jump comes in. Great rocket laces there from Levi, and we're finally seeing some good use of that. Now, going in towards Tense, I should be able to get this kill. The lockdown is going to go to Chitampo instead. He uses a super. Moya's going to go for the jump in, and Suzuka will find him when he lands. Really nice play there from Zeta. Wasted a few of the supers from the Crazy Raccoon side and put themselves in a good position to win this next round.
And that's why it was Brock. And that's why, you know, the rocket laces is such a great idea to have to evade the Bonnie hypercharges. I mean, that was really, really great play there from Brock, and make something of this game, of course, still up for grabs here. And I think that so far it's a bit more of an even matchup. Definitely a night and day difference from what we saw in that first set, absolutely, as that was just a steamroll. As now, I think Zeta Division got a little bit ahead of themselves. A missed rocket rain there from Levi on the hypercharged front as well, so a bit disappointing there. Milk Rayo's got his hypercharge now, and with Tampo having to heal, it's the time to strike.
Suzuki in a tough spot now. Going in, Milk Rayo might be caught out of place here. Moya's going to go into lockdown onto Chitampo. And a 3v1 when you're playing Brock is not an easy thing to win. He's hitting a few shots, but what can he expect to do in this situation? Goes for the jump, but still dies. And 3 members of Crazy Raccoon still stand. And that's another game going their way. And for the first time, they're ahead.
Yeah, the draft it's just a safer draft, isn't it? It's just kind of taking things back down the notch. And again, going back from, you know,
Ладно, брат, я буду заканчивать. Что-то онлайна вообще нету. Уже 45 минут, это бессмысленно. Давай, хорошего дня тебе. Скоро будет и розыгрыш, и видосы новые. Давай, пока-пока.